Okay, let's just jump right into this explainer because the story of Chen is absolutely wild. Imagine you're a totally normal 24-year-old just out shopping in a modern city, right? And then, boom, you suddenly transmigrate into this brutal, terrifyingly prehistoric world where survival of the fittest is literally the only rule. We're going to break down exactly how he manages to survive, adapt, and basically build an entire empire right from scratch.
So you're probably wondering, how does a guy who's used to grocery stores survive giant spears and actual saber-toothed tigers? Well, here's the really interesting part. He doesn't just have to rely on his own wits. Chen is gifted this crazy, lit RPG-style system to keep him alive. Think of it like a video game interface laid right over his actual prehistoric reality. We're talking attribute points, daily quests, a mini-map, the whole shebang.
Level 1, the tutorial. And our focus here is pure, unadulterated survival.
12. That is the exact number of hours of sheer, heart-pounding terror Chern has to survive just to earn his very first attribute point in a basic survival pack. Imagine the absolute physical exhaustion of that. Literally right out of the gate, he barely dodges a spear thrown by local tribesmen, and then he has to outsmart this massive saber-toothed tiger using fire just to make it through his very first day.
And, it creates this hilarious clash of cultures. His new newbie tribe literally sleeps in the dirt, they eat raw meat, and they fight each other over basic scraps of food. Meanwhile, Chen is a modern guy. He just wants a daily shower, a safe place to sleep, and, man, he'd kill for a bowl of properly seasoned fish soup. He basically has to drag these people kicking and screaming into civilization. Without the axe, I wouldn't last long in a place like this. Chen hits the nail on the head with that one. Thankfully, his system grants him the Split Mountain Axe, and let me tell you, this weapon instantly makes him the godlike king of his 15 primitive followers, including this absolute unit of a warrior named Stonebone. The axe is so ridiculously sharp that it cleaves primitive weapons clean in half. It instantly secures Chen's authority through sheer intimidation. All right, let's move right along to level 2, base building and the tech tree. Chen knows he can't just fight all day. He needs infrastructure to keep his people safe from the giant monsters roaming around. So he implements 4 absolutely vital steps to jumpstart a civilization. Step 1 is sparking fire to cook meat and scare off predators. Step 2, braiding grass rope for basic construction. Step 3 is crafting wooden spears tipped with sharpened stones. And finally, Step 4 is building actual wooden houses to replace the dirt patches and cages they were sleeping in. And by knocking out quests like, say, taming some wild boar cubs, Chen farms tech points to buy some literal game changers from the system's store. We're talking upgrading to the Axe of Pangu for major combat damage, securing an iron cauldron so he can finally cook that fish soup he's been craving, and get this, he even buys a sense of modesty plaque to introduce the concept of clothing and privacy to his tribe. Now, how does he test out these awesome new upgrades? By intentionally provoking or aggroing a herd of massive black bulls. But he doesn't just run at them head-on. He uses real strategy. He takes the high ground and uses spears coated in tranquilizer leaves to take down the boss. It's a massive victory that scores the tribe a literal mountain of meat, but it does leave Chen pretty severely injured in the process. Which brings us to level 3, faction quests and dealing with the rival clans. So, with his base up and running, Chen's next system quest demands that he expand his tribe's population to 50. Since he only has about 15 people, he's got to look outward. He's facing 3 main threats in the area. First, the female-led Coconut Grove clan, who are cautious and non-combatant. Then there's the Bay clan, who are chaotic, aquatic, and constantly fighting amongst themselves. And finally, the massive, toxic, giant Stone clan, who rule from a nearby mountain and wield some seriously terrifying power. Chen is smart, so he uses that black bull meat as the ultimate strategic bribe. He flexes his food wealth and shows off his newly built wooden houses to basically absorb the Coconut Grove clan. He plays this incredible mental game with their leader, Queen Lisa, eventually bringing her entire people under his protection and even locking in a partner ceremony to cement the alliance. Now, we absolutely have to talk about industrial hemp. In this world, it's a toxic herb used by the giant Stone clan to induce violent hallucinations. And this perfectly explains the Bay clan's sudden, crazed attack on Chen's camp. They were running entirely on raw instinct, completely attracted to the smell of blood, all because the nefarious giant Stone clan poisoned them with this hallucinogen to wipe them out. But instead of just killing off these crazed attackers, Chen captures them. He strategically cures their leader, Hector, totally neutralizing the threat and recruiting the surviving Bay Clan warriors. Now, these guys are fiercely loyal to Chen and incredibly hungry for revenge against the Giant Stone Clan. And boom, just like that, Chen hits a system population goal of 50. All right, the stakes are getting higher. Level 4, World Bosses and Beast Taming. Now that his faction is totally fortified with new members, defensive towers, and traps, Chen starts exploring the map, and the primitive world just gets weirder and deadlier. His scouting party gets ambushed by a crimson kingflower. It is a massive, corrosive, man-eating plant that literally almost digests one of his allies. Chen has to use flint to start this massive fire just to force the giant plant to spit out its prey. 600. Right after barely escaping that fire, Chen finds himself totally cornered by a massive bear and his old enemy, the saber-toothed tiger. It's a nightmare scenario. So his system offers an emergency escape mode, which grants him insane superhuman agility for exactly 600 seconds. But the cost? Permanent damage to his core stats. It's a truly brutal trade-off, but hey, it keeps him breathing. And there is a really fascinating contrast here regarding enemy cruelty versus system healing. Later on, we see a rival mountain chief actively torturing a poisoned bear just for fun, really flexing his cruelty. Meanwhile, Chen's system gives him a quest to risk his own life using herbs to heal that exact same bear. It just really highlights that Chen's path to true power isn't only about destruction. And guys, that compassion completely pays off. Chen manages to save the massive bear, he names it Shunda, and he gains a fiercely loyal new beast. Having a fully tamed powerhouse bear by his side totally elevates Chen's status and completely supercharges the military power of the newbie tribe. So, with the rival clans merging and world bosses teamed, the massive question is, who will survive the looming war with the Giant Stone Clan? Chen has beaten the tutorial, he's mastered the tech tree, and he's united the local factions. But the Giant Stone Clan has been looming in the background this whole time, manipulating tribes and gearing up for an all-out war. Strategy and technology have gotten Chen this far, but when the mountain itself comes alive to crush his new home, will the system actually be enough to save him? Guess we'll have to wait and see.